Margo Lewis.
Keri Croft.
Welcome to the Keri Croft Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm just tickled.
I am too.
I'm very, very excited to have you here.
I'm more just happy to be here with you.
I'm happy to be here with you too, but I kind of like the mics and all the official business too.
I'm just going to say it again because my voice sounds so sexy.
It does.
Yours does too. We're so sexy.
We're already on that, aren't we? We're already on the pheromone vibe.
We're on.
It's in. Let's just jump right in. So fill me in. So what's happening recently with you in your life? Let's start with Moog. Because I want to start with that because there's so many things we're going to dive into. But I was very excited to see that you were doing that. And of course, on brand, you were perfectly, like the marketing, everything about it, everything about the name, I loved it all.
Thank you.
So where is that right now? And what are we doing with that?
Moog is like my special little, side business hustle baby that I have kind of put on the shelf a little bit as we talk about how excited we are, and you're proud of me. Thank you for
that. Yes, I am.
But it's one of those things where I've really started to go through the process of, okay, what does this look like to scale? And started to try to actually go down that road with maybe apparel potentially. And what does that apparel look like? Is it on brand as far as look like where factories, where are they from? Is corresponding with LA-based factories, trying to do, keep it, a stateside. And I was getting samples back and forth. I had 10 sets of samples. And finally I'm like, oh my gosh,
it's a lot. It's
just not. And it wasn't right. So I was to a place where I can start with a new factory. I can find a new team. But there's no but. I have 3 little kids and a wife who is a, CEO and traveling woman. And it's a lot for us. So it was really to a place where I had to make a decision, like, where do I really want to put my time and energy? And is this like my dream that I've had my whole life that I'm dying to really jump into?
Yeah.
That's
timing is everything.
Timing is everything. So I pulled back and, when I post on my stories, I sell jewelry.
I think that's amazing.
When I post about it and when I start talking about it, Jamie makes a joke. She says, "You're going to go to work today? Go upstairs and post some jewelry."
She's probably just pissed because she's got to get on a plane and she's got to deal with people. And here you can make money and monetize just being you. I mean, think about that.
I don't know about that. But
you want to, so now that we're just going to take this in an organic, natural way.
Okay, let's do that.
Now that you mentioned posting, I need to walk you through how I feel when I see your posts because it is, you have it. I mean, you have it, right? So, but you make me mad sometimes. I'm like, how does Margo? Yeah. So let's just bring up the latest one with Sunday Fun Day.
Oh,
now any of you who follow Margo, and you changed it. It was Margo's Kind of Life, and now it's just your name, right?
It is.
Margo.
Helena Lewis.
Okay, so those of you who aren't dialed into this, go to Margo's amazing Instagram, and you will just see these. First of all, she's just a hot bitch, but she just has her photos are just, they're that photo where you look at it and you're like, damn it. So Margo's Sunday Fun Day this past Sunday was, this pink and lavender mix. And this was the Chanel bag in it, the purple Chanel
bag. And then, it's designer. It can be very annoying, but I'm just,
but here's the thing. Anything can be annoying, but this is what you love. And we're going to talk about it because I'm fascinated because my Sunday Fun Day is legitimately SOS sweatpants that should have been taken out to pasture 2 years ago. Ratty, bun. So I'm looking at you on your Sunday Fun Day and I'm like, how in the fuck is this real?
Okay. Well, let me give that particular post context. So there was a swipe, and if you see the verbiage again, not to put too much into it, but the Sunday Fun Day was a birthday party for one of my best friends. And it was a surprise birthday at a paddle tennis match. So as I'm leaving the house, Jamie says, "Where's your paddle tennis gear?" And I conveniently said, "Oh, I didn't know it was a paddle tennis match. Well, I did. No, I just was not planning on playing. So it was like last minute as she's like in her like Nike gear and her like leggings. I was like, baby, you look so hot. And I was ready.
Oh my God.
But the Sunday Fun Day, I had a coffee cup and the next swipe was like straight full of just straight tequila and a little bit of lime. So I really was having a Sunday Fun Day with myself.
Yes. I love it.
But I like that you interpreted that as like, oh, it's a fashion fun day.
Well, no, I'm like, this is Margo's because everyone's different, right? So we all do this. We all want to fantasize about what someone else is doing. So I'm like, this is Margo's Sunday Fun Day, that little bitch. She's got these lavender tight little jeans on. And I'm like, oh man, I would love to be able to wear lavender jeans and look like that in a pair of lavender jeans. Now, your nails that you have going on right now, which I've complimented, was that part of because that matched?
You know, I did this yesterday and I'm going to Miami tomorrow and I wanted something poppy.
Is Miami like do you go there a lot?
I go a couple times a year and I mainly go for I'm going for 36 hours, go with the same 3 other women that I've been going with 2 or 3 times a year. We go to New York, Miami, wherever it is. It's very close in a direct flight and we party for 36 hours.
I'm not done. I need to talk more about your Instagram before we move on because I just love it so much. So, okay. And Jamie Style, your wife, has taken a notable turn and I will tell you this, it works
for the better.
It's really working.
Can I
for
say
me.
that?
See, so she's great before.
Yeah.
But now what I love about it is it's definitely different, but it feels authentic to her.
I agree.
And I'm vibing.
And I want to touch on that in her style too, because I think it's interesting, especially in today's, we don't have to talk about it right now, but her style is interesting because she's so androgynous to me. And I don't know if she would identify as this androgynous person. But she, and we talked about this a little bit on the phone, has this very sexy kind of masculine energy, but she's a woman. She wears a dress. It doesn't look right.
Right.
And I've told her that now she can hear that. She's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I'm like,
no,
I don't know how to describe it. It just is not her. And so I think when she finally stepped into her own vibe of okay, I'm really embracing this androgynous way that you could wear this outfit and I could wear this. Anyway, a man, woman could wear this outfit, but it's falling naturally to her. I don't know how to quite describe that, but it's a really cool, tomboy chic, feminine, but still with a little masculine edge. It's pretty cool.
I love it. Okay. So kudos to Jamie for this evolved. I'm particularly into the hair. I'm particularly into the hair color and I'm feeling all of it.
My mother said it. She said it. She looks like she should have come out of the womb like that. And I agree.
I agree. I totally agree.
It's hot.
Okay. So more on this Instagram.
Yeah.
So these things are really expensive.
The fashion.
Everything.
Oh yeah.
And so you'll wear something and I'll be like, maybe I should get that. Because you have that, somebody wants to follow and do what you do. Because I'm not a big follower, but I'm like, well, Margo's got this Chloe, sports bra on. And I'm like looking it up and I'm like, oh, well, that's basically my utility payment.
It's a little cringeworthy even to hear you say that. And I feel
well, but here's my question. No, you shouldn't feel bad because you can indulge where you want to indulge. You shouldn't apologize to anybody for that. No, that's your thing, right?
I know. And it does make me, that's why I do post a lot about resale because that's an important part of it.
100%. That was what part of my question. But another part of my question is, because I do this, when I buy something that's expensive, and my version of an expensive item clothes wise would be a pair of jeans for $300 or something. But see, I don't look the way in clothes like you do. If I looked like you do in clothes, I probably would want to buy them more. My body type just doesn't, if I put the Chloe sports bra on and take a photo, ooh, it's not looking the way. Okay. But anyway.
First of all, I I'm going to flip this on you just for a minute, but this is some of your own internal talk track, I think.
Yes.
Because you're smoking hot. Your body's smoking hot.
I have National Geographic titties, and I've been very open about that. One's an A and one's a B. I'm just not a.
Oh, but that's so fun! With fun bags.
You're wait, I'm with one. Wait, I'm with this girl. Now I'm with.
It's just always keeps it exciting.
Yes, but my question to you is: do you rationalize? Because I do. I'll be well, if I spend $500 on these jeans and I get a top from Target, then I just divide that by 2 and I have it. Or are you just you know what, this is my indulgence. And it's part of the allure is that it's this designer thing that's in this box and it's all part of the psychology of it.
A lot of it is the psychology. Now, my games with myself aren't necessarily, okay, I'm going to hit Target and I'm going to hit Zara for the pant. Although I do this.
Love Zara.
You know, I love Zara. Like it's always my
so good.
kind of, if I'm looking for the right price point, it's Zara. For me, the game is what can I sell? So like when I start fixating on something, it's immediately like I have people who follow me who when they see I'm selling something, I might, okay, you know, Chanel bag, I'll do a little video. I might talk about it. They'll say, what are you buying? Like they already know.
Yes.
Like I'm gearing up for something. So it makes my wife happy because she doesn't only see boxes coming in.
She sees you selling. I heard about the Real from Trolloc Boutique in New Albany. The owner there is like just amazing.
She is one Tish.
That's a real, Tish is the bomb.
Yeah,
that's the real kind of app.
It really is.
You can find some good stuff.
You can find good stuff. You can sell good stuff. I think people they think that you can only sell really top designers there. And that's just not true. I mean, they aren't taking, you know, they aren't taking your Gap, your J. Crew, like great brands that, you know, you would think, well, but I paid $150 for this. You're not taking it. But there are brands that they take that you may pay $150 for a different brand that they do accept. So how the Real works is you just send everything to them and they send everything back. They're really good about, oh, thanks, this isn't working. And they send it back. So I follow their app. I look at it diligently, like what's sold, what am I consigning, what's coming up that I've sent them. But that's income into the pocket. So
100%. And I'm jealous of someone who's into fashion and like wants to go and find and curate outfits. I really am. I wish I was good at that. I might be good at it if I put the time into it. But then when it comes time to look cute or find something, then I'm like, I'm dead in the water.
I know that feeling. I actually do know that feeling.
It's weird.
So for me, it's very easy to like dress street. It's, you know, if I'm going to New York, no problem. Like when it comes to resort, for example, I'm going to the Cayman Islands for spring break and I'm like, oh my God, what am I? Because my whole look is this very like casual, a lot of designer, but you know, I invest in stuff I can wear all the time. So I get that feeling where it's like I go to the beach and I'm like, what the fuck am I going to wear?
Right.
Like I maybe have like 2 bathing suits and I don't like exposing skin. So they're really like long sleeved, you know, like kind of fuddy-duddy type stuff. I know that feeling. So I'm like diligently searching like resort. And then my friend was like, I'm showing her, she's like, you're not a floral dress type of person. And I'm like, I thought I'd try it, you know, you never know.
So the old college
No,
dress.
but you spend so much time and then it comes, you know, you're like, oh, okay, I got this. And then it comes to that event and you're like, this makes no sense.
I think everyone might feel that way.
I think so.
Even someone like you.
I think everybody feels that way.
It's very interesting.
But that's maybe anxiety for the event and less about like, am I actually, on my body or like, oh God, what's other people going to be wearing? What's the vibe going to be? Am I going to know people? I mean, I think there's
going all the way back to our childhood fears and anxieties.
Truly.
Yes,
and I think that's about the anxiety around the outfit. Like the outfit is going to make everything okay.
100%. Yes. You have this great armor, this great, beautiful shield of armor. One more question about this and then we can go into some other way more interesting things too. Yeah. More fun things for you. So does your family get irked or annoyed at the photos and like the curation of all of that? Is Jamie patient or are there times where she's like, Margo, I can't take another photo?
So I do feel like I used to post more and I feel like I put more on stories so that she would get annoyed sometimes and sometimes she plays along, but it's very clear when she's annoyed. And so I just like, put the phone away, like moving on, you know,
not it.
Cause I'm not trying to you know, piss anybody off. You know what I mean?
No, but it's fun when you're into it. Cause I have the same thing in my own way with SOS. When you're into it, it's fun. But then if you're not, you're like, come on, just play along.
That's right. And with her, I usually have 45 seconds at the most to take a picture. So like a lot of times, like when they're in front of my house, it's like our nanny, like, okay, Jenny, like, you got to really get a good one.
Yes.
And so she'll get down on one knee and take like 200 pictures in like maybe 15 seconds. And Jamie's like, all right, that's it. Time to go.
Even with her new look. Does she linger a little longer now with the new look?
Not really. No. And she's just like, oh, here we go. But she,
loves it.
I think
because it's you.
Look, and she also allows me to post them. So she's not completely as much, if she really had that much of a problem with it, I feel like she'd be like, leave me out of it completely. Like she has no problem setting boundaries. Trust me.
And please never stop posting. Never. Because I need something to aspire to.
Yeah, I love you. I aspire to you every day. Truly.
In
so many different ways.
I'll take it. Isn't that amazing how we feel about each other? Like not just me and you, but just in general, how I could be looking up to you in some way and you're like, what? And then on the flip side, I'm like, really?
Well, I think
little old me?
We can hit this or not hit this, but
let's hit it.
I reached out to you a long time ago about being a potential investor in System of Strength.
Oh, yes. I do remember that. Yeah.
And I looked at my own spaces for yoga at the time. I mean, fitness, fashion has always been an interest in me. But when we talk about Moog, jewelry is not my passion. I like to invest in jewelry, and I love to make jewelry for other people. But it's not like my passion is fitness and fashion.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what, like, that's the extent of my thought process when it's outside of my kids and programming and my wife. Like, I think about that a lot.
Right.
So, for me, when I see you, I'm like, they did it. Like, they actually did it. I went with Realist. I looked at the space. I approached you guys. And, at the time, it actually probably didn't make sense.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
We kind of sat down.
I forgot. And then
Yeah. And so when I see like what you've done, I'm like, that was really like a long time dream. And so I feel that same sense of like, not only just like, I'm proud of you. I see like that wasn't my path, but I have that feeling too towards you.
I appreciate that. I remember when we first met, you had reached out to be an instructor.
Yeah.
And I went to the class. Where was that? The Short
North Fitness.
Yeah. And I'm like, I like this girl. She's a really, first of all, your energy is palpable. And you can't say that about everybody. And the energy, when I say energy, it's a very positive thing.
Thank you.
And I knew you have this soft voice and you have this strength about you. And you had this mix of this yogic energy and this strength. And I'm like, I really like her.
Awesome.
A lot. And I used to love when you taught and just everybody was like, oh, Margo, her voice and the way you were able to communicate yourself through that 60 minutes. It was amazing.
Would you believe me if I told you I haven't taken a yoga class since almost I stopped teaching for you?
I would.
It was a real, like, I felt like that was a transition in my life where I kind of had shut the door to that part for a while. And I mean, I think I'd have to do a much deeper dive. I could probably get there, but that was, like there is a fear for me going back. And I don't know why, to teaching, to yoga, to, and I'm not exactly sure where that,
do you remember when the door closed? Was it a specific?
I think it was when I started getting, when I realized I probably was moving on from teaching at the time, moved out to California, and I think I just literally showed up at your studio, and said, hey, I'm Margo. I teach, I've taught at these different places. Come to my class. Yeah. And we immediately connected. Like there was clearly, I was like, this is going to be a good fit. I knew it. And I had taught at so many different places since I was 16. I mean, Athletic Club hired me to teach spinning, and I don't think that was legal at the time, actually. And I definitely was not certified.
I don't think it was. That's okay.
And I taught there until I was in my 20s and still was not certified. I mean, I should probably maybe don't say
but I can't do anything about it now.
I mean, this was so long ago. And, I think that times have changed. And then I did, I got my personal training, I got the yoga training, and I kind of backtracked from where. I mean, I was teaching Tai Bo at a gym in China to foreigners, just like, that was my whole life for so long. And then I had kids and Jamie was traveling 5 days a week. And I just got really into like running. And I think running was like
your outlet,
my outlet, where yoga was probably the balance and peace. And I don't, I think now it's almost like go mode, and that's like the running mode. And maybe I'm like nervous just to tap back in to slow down, because I'm like, what am I going to face?
What's going to come up? What's going to come up?
Exactly. And saying that sounds so ridiculous.
No, it doesn't. Not to me, it doesn't.
So yes.
Because I understand that it's about working out and getting a sweat every day, but it's also about getting the yayas out.
Yeah.
And the yayas just are basically all of the, the everyday stress and grind and just releasing that. And so you are in go mode.
That's
so
right.
You don't have to think really about what's happening on a deeper level, because you're like, whoosh. And then yoga forces you right into the breath, into the stillness, into the brahmacharya and the, yamas and niyamas. And I can just hear my yoga teacher, Alicia Chung, in my ear. But it all in due time for you.
Yeah.
That's right. I have no doubt that you are someone that listens to your your inner gut. Speaking of having 3 kids and a wife, baller, successful wife.
She's something.
She is something.
She's one of those people who, when people meet me, like, you're like, oh, she's so fun. Like, she's cute. She's got these little kids and just so much, ball of energy. And then they meet Jamie and they realize that, like, she's actually the cooler one of the two of us. And I mean that. I'm not trying to put myself down. Like, she's so chill. She's really fun to be around. She also has that, like, kind of light around her type of energy. And I think she's a little more untouchable for people who aren't, because she's traveling all the time. She's not in the classes. She's not in the day to day. Yeah. But when people start to spend time around her, it's like, they're like, man, Jamie is something.
Right. Well, like, I mean, you two together are something special. So I think a lot of people would be curious just about the practical reproductive gymnastics you guys had to go through to have kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so what was it when you guys decided to have kids? Was there just a logical, like, I want to carry the child and she didn't? Or did you have to, like, flip a coin? Like, hey, who gets to carry this baby?
I really wanted to carry. And I specifically really wanted to carry her DNA, her baby, and our baby, but her biological egg for us. Yeah. And she did want to carry, but she was also, like, in the heat of when she was working for Intuitive Surgical and was traveling all the time. And it was a lot. And I was kind of, at the time, I was teaching System of Strength. I think I was at Continental. I was kind of transitioning out of there, selling office furniture. And then I think we just decided, if we can do it this way, where she really biologically wanted to have a child. Mm-hmm. We both did, of our own. Mm-hmm. And how we did that, we had to work out the kinks. So I carried for her and for Jacob. Yeah. And Jacob is like a spitting image of Jamie. Right. It's like very clear. Although my grandmother, who was kind of losing it, like many of us do, I feel like I'm already losing it. She was 92. She's from Poland and had a very strong accent. And man, when Jacob was born, he had blonde hair, blue eyes. And she looked at him and she said, "Oh, darling, he looks just like you." I was like, really? Okay.
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Not quite seeing that.
Still maybe a little in denial, but my grandfather's looking at her just going like this.
Oh, that's sweet though. It really is. Then super sweet. The second time, biologically, twins were mine. We did IUI. Yeah. So obviously IVF and, in vitro.
Oh, you did IUI? I did IUI with the twins. It was just like the turkey baster.
And you got 2.
Make this happen. We got 2. So then we had 3.
And they're all just thriving, beautiful little heathens, aren't they?
Thriving little heathens.
What is it like for them? Or is it just like, this is the way we grew up? We've always talked about it. Like, is there a big conversation around, like, you being the bio mom of the 2 and not, or is it just doesn't matter?
They have no idea.
They don't even know.
They don't know. And to a point, like, we normalize our life so much for them. Which is funny because we met this gay couple recently who has a 2-year-old, and they were like, we're at the park and this, little girl says, how can you have 2 daddies? It's like a little, we get these questions all the time. And he says, he's a very, like, logical, pragmatic young man. And he's like, well, we had we adopted her and there was a mother, but she couldn't care for the baby. And so we ended up taking her and she was pregnant by another person and, really trying to give the, like, blow by blow. And our answer is, oh my gosh, how lucky is Rella that she has 2 moms? Isn't that cool?
Yes.
And kind of look at him like, isn't that cool? Like, almost like will them to see how cool it is.
It's real
like,
cool.
It's so cool. And they're like, oh yeah, okay. And then they go on and play. And so that's how we talk to them. I mean, Rella will sometimes say, I'm so glad I don't have a daddy. And we're like, why? We don't want her to not, having a daddy's awesome. Right. But it's like, oh yeah, like, why do you say that, Rella? And she says, I just love having 2 mommies and a mommy and a mama. And I'm just not comfortable with daddies. Like, I'm comfortable with a mommy and a mama. And, that's what she knows.
100%.
That's what she knows.
100%.
So,
now, does she have any, like, male relationships where it's like uncles or anything? Like, does she have, is it more, she's dominated by mostly estrogen?
I mean, it's Jamie and I are so hands-on. It's to a point where like, yes, they have very strong male figures. She has my father who takes them to school all the time, picks them up. I mean, they call him Happy Pappy.
Stop.
Sam will say Happy Pappy is his best friend.
That is
which is amazing. And so Pappy is a great male figure. Jamie's father, Papaw, we're with him every Sunday. He comes during the week. He's wonderful with them. And my stepdad, who's been my basically second dad since I was 8 years old, they're sleeping over at my parents' house this weekend in Watiti. So I don't think there's lack of like, and we're with our family so much.
And I think, me being a recipient as well of reproductive technology and being able to understand what goes into all of that, and you guys being able to just have this family together is just it's a miracle.
It's incredible.
It's amazing. And I feel sad for, this going back to the guy at the park, I feel sad for people who feel like they have to explain themselves.
Yeah.
And I wish more people felt like you, like, wait, we're normal. Like normalize this. This doesn't have to be some kind of thing. You're like, wait, what? This is normal for us. Right. This is our normal. And you don't have to explain it to anyone.
Sometimes I forget I'm gay. Like, not that I think I'm straight. I just don't think that there's like,
you're just not thinking about it.
It's our family and our friends. We live in such a like straight bubble of our life because for the most part, I mean, we live in Bexley and we have a wonderful group of a community that never treats us any different, and so I never feel different. It's like, this is the first time I've been in Bexley other than like one couple that I've been a couple times, spent time with, that I am like in a room with 3 gay couples, including ourselves from Bexley, like, which actually was awesome. Yeah. And it's important. And I think I forget like that is a community that I can't like,
You strike me though as more of just a gender fluid human.
Totally.
And so speaking of straight, gay and all this, so you dated men.
I did.
Up until like around what age?
Up until I met Jamie. I mean, I had been with a woman and then I went back. I had a boyfriend that I was with on and off for like 12 years. And I loved him. Like, I loved him. Yeah. I mean, if I can't marry him, like, I don't know. It's probably not going to happen with men for that matter.
Yeah.
But I love men. I find them attractive. But I hate to be very honest. I just like, and I talked to my straight friends who are like, who does love penises? Like, dick is not cute, okay? But I don't want dick near me. And I've had dick near me and I don't want it near me.
I'm going to cramp up.
Okay, so if this is
don't bring that D.
way too hard. Keep your kids away from this
don't
one.
Bring that
don't
D
bring
to
the
Margo's
D near me.
D.
I'll go on a date with you. I will hang out with you. I will think you're super hot until it's like actually needs to like.
Is it aesthetically the D or is it more just the male factor? Because I assume that you're using something that might look like a D.
Honestly, I think a lot of people would like tread lightly and want to ask about like, what is like lesbian? How do you guys have sex?
Yeah. I'm going to tread a little. I'm just going to tread.
I think that there are a lot of lesbians who use toys like as their main form of like sexual, like, stimulating and having sex for that matter.
Well, it's no different than a heterosexual couple in terms of like feeling you have to spice it up and have a toy. You're not going to do that every single time.
Exactly. And I think some do and are like, used to that. And I think that there are many ways that you can please your partner as a woman without using.
I wouldn't, honey. I have no doubt that you're pleasing your partner.
She seems to be happy.
She's real
Jamie's
happy.
Like listening this, then she's like, okay, no more. Please don't. This is her right now.
She's like, I knew this Keri Croft show is a bad idea.
She's like, so what are you going to talk about? And I was like, I have no idea. And she's like, just don't say anything I wouldn't want. So I think that's like my, okay, Jamie, I won't say it.
Jamie, we love you. It's all in good fun. Let's go back to the D. Is there something that happened in your, like, is it deeper than that? Or you just don't personally, you think it's just not your sexual, because maybe you don't really like men.
Yeah. I think that this is how I like really, when I think about it, no, nothing. Look, I think we have all been in situations where it could have pressured you in ways. I always kind of felt like even I developed very early, like some of us do. And from like third grade, I got my period at 10. It was like a lot of sexualizing. I had boobs when I was 12. I was 5'3" when I was 12 with boobs. You know, it was like one of those kids that were just, so I feel like there was a lot of like, you know, guys always trying to, you know, bump me or, you know, so I feel like I kind of was like, and I'm a flirty, fun girl. So I think that you know, that combination can, you know, become difficult. But no, there was nothing ever happened that was like enough trauma to say I will never be with a man again. I think it's like typical situations we can get in high school or post, you know, alcohol, whatever. You're like, actually, no, I'm not into this and I don't want to do this.
I'm not
and you're like,
into
no, come on, let's just, you know, let's just do it a little bit. But that wasn't like traumatizing.
So you strike me as someone then, you've always just been comfortable in your skin and you kind of just have liked who you've liked and you haven't really identified, there wasn't some big coming out or some big scary thing, which is really amazing.
I feel very, very fortunate.
You are.
That I was never uncomfortable. I feel like maybe to a fault where some people are a little more forgiving of their parents or friends who don't understand or extended family, you know, just give it time. I'm like, fuck, you're not into this. You probably don't have time in my life. Probably don't have space for you in my life. And that is, and not even like with a chip on my shoulder, more like this is who it is. Like you have a choice to be around us or not.
But what it feels like for you, just even, and I didn't know you in your teens, but it just feels like you've always just been who you are. And if it was flowing with the men, if it was flowing with, like, I just think somebody could take a real page out of that book. And because I think so many people out there are just petrified and scared to be who they are or to make this big statement or, you know, it's the scariest thing in the world for someone to do. And here you were just kind of traveling through life, kind of like, I'm Margo, this is what I'm doing.
That has never been something that I have struggled with, you know, for the good and the bad. It might be too much for people. I may be not enough, but I have always, like, I am who I am authentically. When I'm with this person and when I'm with this person, I'm probably going to be having the same conversation. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean that I haven't had struggles in different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But that have like, you know, shaped decision making and directions of life. But my sexuality definitely, you know, wasn't one of those things, thankfully. So
what do you think has been your Achilles heel?
Food challenges forever. Probably from the time I was 15 until Jamie, and even after I met Jamie, I mean, on and off, I dealt with a pretty bad binge purge bulimia. I don't talk about it. I haven't talked about it. People who know me, even like newer friends, I've touched it, but I mean, I was hospitalized multiple times for it. In high school, it was definitely kind of a stamp that I felt like I had. And so, you know, that is the controlled workout for me. You know, I definitely had an unhealthy connection with food and exercise previously, but now it's like what keeps me on track.
Yeah.
And it's what keeps me, you know, out of that space. And I know for a long time, there are certain foods that it was almost like an addict. You know, I used to go to NA, like Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and just substitute food, which sounds crazy.
No, it doesn't.
But like when my dad, you know, I moved back in with him when I was in college for a short period of time. And he's like, you can stay here, but you need to go to AA meetings. You need to go to Al-Anon. You need to go to Overeaters Anonymous eating meetings because he's the sponsor in the program. So he believes in the program. Whatever your addiction is, you substitute the word. If it's alcohol, you substitute, you know, if it's, you know, alcohol or food, a lot of it has to do with the same types of behaviors in a weird way.
Would you, and I've always thought this about people who have food addictions. I think we all kind of have some kind of food things, but this is a significant situation that you deal with. Like, you can remove heroin from the room.
That's right.
Not that that's a horrible thing to have to overcome, but food is everywhere.
That's right.
And that's just they're all hard. All addictions are incredibly hard, but having a food addiction has to be just so hard because you need food to live.
It was strange because went earlier, I mean, this is going to sound really, really fucked up, but for years when I was going through, like, you know, in my teens and even early late teens, early 20s, I wished I was anorexic. Like literally, if I could just not think, if I could just not eat.
Right.
But it was truly like, that was anorexia. It was never a challenge for, like, it was never something I dealt with. It was binging and purging. And that was like, it was before I would teach classes. It was after, it was multiple times a day. I don't even quite know how I got through that time of my life, but it would ebb and flow, but it was always consistent. And I think I ran a lot for a long time, traveled a lot. I mean, lived in different countries, trying to almost like, wherever you go, there you are.
That's one of my favorite quotes.
It's the best ones. Some of my best quotes are from my dad. He uses that one. Yep.
Especially as I've gotten older and you see people.
And you can see people do it.
Mm-hmm, they're like, hey, wherever you go,
yep,
there you are. Like you're there.
So I think what happened for me is I had so much, honestly, like therapy early on and surrounding, I was in an eating disorder hospital twice where it's like deep dive all day long. It's fucking crazy. I personally think it actually made me worse because I was focusing on this stuff so much, But when things changed for me, I think I'd been through so much with the food and the addiction and the losses of friendships and the loss of life that I gave up because I had my head in a toilet, and the experiences that I lost. And even when I was on crazy wild experiences, this was still like taking up part of my day. So I was missing out on so much for so long. Like there's no looking back for me, like I don't, I am, like, to circle it back with, I am who I am. I dealt with that, but I was always the same person. I just had this like demon that I struggled with behind closed doors. It just didn't happen to be my sexuality.
Right.
So as I got cleaner, I consider getting clean from that kind of behavior. And there was something that happened that really made that change for me. It was almost like cold turkey. And I'll share that with you if you want to hear it. But,
I do.
After that, it's like, I'm living every day as much as I can to the fullest. I want to travel. I want to like embrace time with my kids. I never, ever want to think about, I think that's why I struggle when people have problems with, if it's, religious, I'm Jewish, I'm gay. There's a lot of other people who are, I have no tolerance for any of it. Mm. And for multiple reasons, I just, it's a no-fly zone with me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Do you want to share the moment?
Yeah, it's a pretty rough moment. Even when I like bring it up to Jamie, because it had to do with her, she was really struggling, I think, to some degree with, is this a life I can lead with a woman? I knew that she had fallen in love with me, but, she's from a different part of she's from smaller town, Ohio, and, is from a pretty religious family. And I think she felt like she was kind of, I don't want to speak for her, but she definitely was trying to figure out if this was something that she could do. Mm-hmm. And I had no question. I was like, you're it for me. And so while she was going through her own struggles, I was living in the short north and was having an episode and had my head in the toilet, basically like making myself vomit at that point. And she walked into the bathroom and nobody had ever, like, it was a very regimented, like I had this whole very kind of like sick routine of how to like clean up and make sure that like no one would ever know. And she walked in and she's like, I got too much. I'm trying to do, I can't like, because she had dated somebody that had dealt with this stuff. And she's like, I can't take on this kind of, responsibility, because we hadn't been together that long and it was so hurtful, but it was also like, and I can't do this anymore. Like if I want to have any kind of meaningful relationship. And I knew that. So I had a choice because I was like, I can't hide this from her. I can't, like you can't, when you're actually living with somebody, like I would lie about it. I would hide it, but I knew that she was going to know.
Yeah.
She's one that walks into your door shut, she opens it. Like if she feels like something's going on, she's going to call you out.
Don't know Jamie well, but I don't think a lot gets past her.
Yeah. So where I could kind of slide under the radar with friends, family, and even past relationships, this one I wasn't going to slide under with this one. No. So, I basically made a decision in that moment that I was going to I'm going to change. And why couldn't I do that before? I don't know.
Was there a moment when you were growing up that you had a first time doing this? Was there what started the binging and purging?
I had a injury in gymnastics really early on. I was probably 11 when it happened. I missed a vault, like a backhand spring onto a vault, and I had actually like a spinal injury. I mean, I was okay, but I was really it was okay. But years later, it just got worse. I had herniated, turned to herniated, so I needed a fusion in my spine, and I wasn't able to play soccer. I quit gymnastics, and I was really into soccer. It was all summer long at these intensive, collegiate soccer camps, and was really like intense about it. And I pretty much I was having these spasms, and I couldn't play. I wasn't mentally there. I couldn't barely walk and run, and so I had this emergency spinal surgery, and it just wasn't the same. I didn't heal, recover for a couple years. I was out for high school for the second 2, but I also didn't mentally. I started putting on weight. I was remember eating goldfish on the couch a lot, where all I was doing was, playing sports or either gymnastics or soccer my entire life. So I remember I had this pivot where I put on weight, and it was I was always super, and I wasn't active. And I don't remember the first time I forced myself to, purge, but it was around that time. And then it just got worse. Then I started the sweet binging. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, I haven't talked about it for so long that I've probably blocked it out. So I can't, pinpoint exactly when, but it was around that time.
Well, I'm really proud of you for sharing that, and even more proud of you for, taking a stand and saying, this relationship with myself and with this woman and the potential life we could have together is, worth so much to me, and I have to stop.
And it's interesting because even when you said, you brought up social media, I've never talked about it on social media, and not because I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. I just don't I feel like we have a choice of what we're putting out there. Mm-hmm. And I have had people say, even close friends, you always put all the good stuff. And I'm like, well, but that's what I see. That's what I want to focus on. That's what I want other people to focus on. And I think it's important though, to share real. I just don't know how to do it. You did that recently. Mm-hmm. And I know that was,
very hard,
very hard. I feel like you're also more raw and real, and you are not to make it that it was easier for you. Mm-hmm. I feel like it would be such a detour. What is she talking about? But I don't know.
I think? I think, Margo, I think you are very real in your life. And, to your friends who say you only share the good stuff, it's okay, we can all dissect social media all we want, but I think you as a human in your life are very real. And if there comes a point where you feel like you need to share and you want to share that side of yourself, you would figure out a way to do it. Yeah. You shouldn't feel pressured to do it.
Yeah. Just to do it, and that's how I've felt,
No. And I will say, your outlet of sharing your family and your life and these amazing pictures of you and these designer clothes, that's amazing to me. And if some, and it's true, because this is what you do. This is what you do. It's that is who you are.
And it is.
I love it. True. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's amazing. And so if that's what you want to share right now, that's what you're going to share. Yeah. And if anybody has a problem with it, beat it.
Well, I'm kind of if you hate it that much, just don't follow me. I won't be offended.
They don't. Well, actually, they probably people, the people that want to hate on you, little they haters. Love to watch.
Oh, hey, little haters. You're still looking though.
Hey, little haters. No, I love it. So I just think in all in due time, you have a story and a struggle that
and we all do.
Right.
We all do.
But this would inspire and help people, but it has to be in your own time. You're in the thick of 3 children, and you have a wife who, has an amazing career, and you have your, all your stuff going on. And so, like we said with Moog, timing is everything.
That's right.
So you shouldn't feel forced to do anything.
Well, I actually stole your phrase. I mean, you may have to rephrase it for me. We were talking about it the other day. You said, "Oh, I just put it up on the little top shelf," and I just, you said something like that.
Because I have Who Cares, Let's Party.
Right.
This little brand of mine, this little passion project that I was doing, and I still love it. It's not dead. It ain't dead.
It ain't dead.
But you can't ride 2 horses with one ass. You can't ride 2 horses with one ass. So with SOS and with my family and everything else, Who Cares, Let's Party sort of ultimately was the one thing I had to put over here.
Yeah.
But she on the shelf. She's too much fun. I still have people asking me for like, where's in, the Who Cares Let's Party apparel. I mean, you never know what'll come out. Little limited edition.
This
Who Cares Let's Party. Yeah, because really, who cares? Let's party.
I agree. I totally agree. Mm-hmm. What else we got to hit, Keri?
Margo, I think we've taken, and I knew this was going to happen with you.
We've gone all over the place.
But it's so good.
Did we narrow in on anything? Did you get any good content?
We were talking about if I were a lesbian, who I would be attracted to.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is one thing we still need to hit. So you called me androgynous.
Yeah.
Which was the biggest compliment.
I do feel like you're androgynous.
Do you know that when you called me that, when you and I met at Club 185, this is a while ago.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you were like, oh yeah, you're androgynous. I told like 5 people. I go, do you know Margo thinks I'm androgynous?
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, that means I'm like
cool and sexy and appealing.
Males and females might want to get a piece of this. Oh my goodness. Okay, but here's the thing. If I were a lesbian, I know this is, I don't know if it'll shock people or not, but my type of lesbian is like Ellen.
I know where this is going.
Or like Katie Lang. Or like, I am not a like, as amazing and attractive as I think you are. We're too like girly or something. I feel like you need
the yin and yang.
Yeah. Like there's these, I don't know how I got to follow these people on TikTok, but there's a couple of, they're like 6'4" and they almost look like men, but they're not. They're female.
Yeah.
Like I need someone just throwing me around. I need like a,
I get that. I do get that.
Does it surprise you, the Katie Lang, Ellen thing?
No, not at all. I think a lot of women, and specifically heterosexual women or fluid, straight fluid-ish, I think we're all sort of somewhere on the spectrum, definitely would gravitate more towards a masculine or androgynous male forward.
Yeah.
I don't know what the terms are. I'm going to get like butchered if somebody actually cares by these terms. I'm like, I don't know.
Listen, if you're going to look for I'm always screwing something up. My heart's in the right place, but I may say something that's,
And I was like, I apologize ahead of time. Just tell me what's going to make you comfortable. But no, you are not actually the first. And if I had a dime for every person that has told me, Jamie is sexy. Like she no offense, Margo, like you're really pretty and cute, but like I'll Jamie. I'm like, okay, I told her the other day after like you told me that, I was like, Jamie, I think I'm starting to get a complex.
And she's over the corner.
And she's over there. She's like, oh, she did say that? Really? Oh, really? No, she did. Wait, who said that? And I'm like, don't think about it too hard, honey.
Let's pipe it down a little bit.
I had a good friend of mine. He was very straight. And if she listens to this, you know who you are. But she was laughing about her husband. She's like, God, fucking, husband was doing something to be aggravating, which often spouses are. And it's never our fault.
Of course.
And she goes, he's so worried about me going out and, guys looking at me. She should be worried about if I'm going to be anyone, it's probably going to be Jamie. And I was like, should I be worried about you?
That is amazing.
I was like, really? Wow. I was like, that's awesome.
Hey, you got you a dime piece,
I got
girl.
A dime.
You really do. And you're a dime too.
Thank you.
I might have to make you a regular on this show. This has just been too good. I feel like we have really just let it rip. We may need to do an apology up front and just put it at the front of this, or a trigger warning.
Yep.
Maybe.
There could be some triggers.
Yeah.
Specifically for Is that the camera? Is that who I'm looking at? Is this not you?
No, this is
especially for the guys whacking their wives on the back with their penises. I'm just kidding.
No,
totally
not,
kidding.
Not really.
Sort of kidding.
Not really at all. Don't whack your D on the back. Okay, no. Oh my God. Well, Margo, you did not disappoint.
I love you so much.
I love you dearly. I'm very proud of you. I'm just happy and proud to know you.
I'm honored that you actually wanted me to sit here and listen to me yak.
You're number 5. You're episode 5.
I'm like number 5.
Yes, you were one of the first people I thought of when I was doing this.
That's better than 10.
You're special to me.
Amen. You are special to me. That's amazing.
And everybody out there, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. If you feel like it today, you can just take a little trip to that YouTube channel and subscribe to the Keri Croft Show. I got about 10 subscribers now. We're climbing the YouTube ranks. Amazing. Follow me on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Until next time, thanks for listening and keep moving.